He moved slowly forward to jam the table, but he couldn't stop himself and slithered into a ditch. "Whoosh!" he hissed. "Get me out! Get me out!" Track. "Careful, Thomas," called his driver, but it was too late. "That's done it," said his driver. "We shan't get any further today." "But what about my passengers?" asked Thomas. "Don't worry, they'll be looked after," replied his driver.
Through the station they thundered. Disaster lay ahead. Something sticky splashed all over James. He had run into 2 tar wagons and was black from smoke box to cab.
"For our plan," giggled the trucks. "Go faster, go faster." "Slow down," called Thomas's driver and applied the brakes. Poor Thomas stood dazed and surprised in a muddy pond as a toad eyed him suspiciously. "Bust my buffers!"
Bumping the trucks fiercely, he jerked his driver off the footplate and followed them into the siding. "Come back!" yelled his driver. "Fire and smoke," said Thomas. "I am sunk." And he was. "Oh dear," he said, "I am a silly engine." There was the station master's house. The station master was about to have breakfast. "Horrors!" cried Thomas and shut his eyes. The house rocked. Broken glass tinkled. Plaster was everywhere. Thomas had collected a bush on his travels. He peered into the room through its leaves. He couldn't speak. The station master was furious. His wife picked up her plate. "You miserable engine," she scolded. "Just look what you've done to our breakfast. Now I shall have to cook some more." She banged the door. More plaster fell. This time it fell on Thomas. Thomas felt depressed. Workmen propped up the house with strong poles and laid rails through the garden.
When he approached the chocolate factory, his driver applied the brakes, but Percy's wheels just skidded on the oily rails. "Oh no!" hooted Percy. "Yuck!" he groaned. "I've never been this dirty." He was covered from funnel to firebox in sticky, gooey chocolate.
The driver was worried too. "It's not bad here," he said to the fireman, "but it's sure to be deep in the valley." "Silly soft stuff," puffed Thomas. "I didn't need that stupid old thing yesterday, and I shan't today. Snow can't stop me." He rushed into a tunnel thinking how clever he was, but there was trouble ahead. "Cinders and ashes," said Thomas. "I'm stuck." And he was. "Back, Thomas, back," said his driver. Thomas tried, but his wheels spun and he couldn't move. The guard went back for help, while everyone else tried to dig the snow away. But as fast as they dug, more snow slipped down until Thomas was nearly buried. "Oh, my wheels and coupling rods!"
Emily steamed round the final bend and straight into a big puddle of mud. "I'll puff through this," thought Emily. Then the track started to sink. Emily was stuck. She didn't feel like excellent Emily anymore. "Oh no, now I'll never get Trevor to the airport." Further up the track, Emily saw Murdoch.
Moved through the tunnel and stopped an inch from the buffers. Then Thomas made his mistake. "Just like this," he boasted. No one was hurt, but Thomas's front was badly bent. They telephoned to the Fat Controller.
I'll send up the workmen, he said. But if they can't mend Thomas in time, we'll have to go to the big city without him.
Poor Thomas.
Fast.
Help me, please!
The next day, Donald was in a bad mood. Duck could see he was getting too close to the buffers. "Look out!" he shouted, but it was too late. Donald's driver was very cross. "This wouldn't have happened if you were working with Douglas," he said.
The silly trucks had knocked their guard off his van and left him far behind after he had whistled a warning. But the trucks didn't care. They were feeling very pleased with themselves. "Beg pardon, sir," gasped Duck. "Excuse my intrusion." "No, I won't," said the barber.
Oh, well, nice time of the year for a cruise.
But Stepney was whistling because the truck of sugar was now rolling towards him. Stepney was covered in pink sugar from funnel to footplate. But Rosie didn't know.
And Thomas onto the old pier rail. The trucks were delighted. He's fallen in the water. Luckily, Thomas wasn't hurt and the fish truck stayed on the tracks. When the Fat Controller heard the news, he checked his timetable.
Careful, Thomas, called his driver, but it was too late. "That's done it," said his driver. "We shan't get any further today." "But what about my passengers?" asked Thomas. "Don't worry, they'll be looked after," replied his driver.
And bumped Percy's driver and fireman off the footplate. "Oh!" said Percy, sliding past the board. Percy was frantic. "That's enough!" Percy was sunk.
Fast the trucks grew tired. "I'm winning," gasped Oliver. But it was too late. Oliver lay, bruised and bemused, bunkered down in the turntable well.
Cheeky. His driver always shut off steam just outside the station. Percy wanted to surprise the coaches by coming in as quietly as he could. But the porters didn't hear him either. Boxes and bags burst everywhere.
"Oh!" groaned Percy.
"Yes, we do," called his driver, but it was too late. Next day,
Suddenly, Neville saw a barrier on the track. He slammed on his brakes, but it was too late. Neville was in terrible trouble. He was on the broken end of the bridge.
"Wish I could see," complained Percy, as he battled against the rain. More trouble lay ahead.
No, hissed Percy. The water is sloshing my fire. Percy's driver and fireman had to find some more firewood.
Heave ho, you can pull, but we won't go, sang the trucks. This made Diesel very cross. He pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled. Help! Grease and oil, Diesel sulked as the trucks laughed and laughed.
Big van passed Gordon, but the tar wagons didn't. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Gordon was very cross.
James! James!
Oh,
Well, you okay, James?
I think so. How's my paint looking? I'm really in trouble now.
But when Henry reached the coastal track, his hopes for a fast run were dashed. Fog floated everywhere. "I can't see," cried Henry, nor could his driver. When he could, it was too late.
Toby, his driver, fought for control. They came nearer and nearer to the bridge. The driver braked hard. Toby stopped, still on the rails, but with his wheels treading the tightrope over the abyss. Mavis was horrified.
The old branch line was weak and rusty. There were signs warning all the trains to go slow. But Gordon ignored the signs. "I'm an express engine, I don't go slow," he said, buckled. "Oh, help!" Gordon cried as he slid off the tracks and into a field. No one was hurt, but poor Gordon felt very undignified.
Faster, wheezed Skarloey. Faster! Then there was trouble. Rheneas raced right off the track. "Oh no!" cried Scar.
We mustn't give up. We have to try. Oh!
Faster! Faster!
Hurry, Thomas! Slow James down!
Right.
We have to try.